episode here on Pallegney Farm, if I'm saying that correct. Right, so there wasn't a Pallegney last week when the videos restarted again, mainly because I had a bit of an issue. The combine wouldn't combine any of the crops. So it was a bit of an issue, but it looks as if we have resolved the issue. Now, for the last week, I have been trying everything to resolve this issue, and I can't believe how much of a wally I've been. There we go. I wanted to use another phrase, but no, we'll use wally. I couldn't believe how much of a wally I've been, because I have been trying everything for a while. I could not figure it out. I could not figure it out why my combines wouldn't harvest my crops, or combine, because I was using a specific combine, and I just couldn't. It didn't make no sense. I was like, you know, you're a combine, like it's your one really and only job to take crops in the field and sort of make them disappear into sort of inside the combine, and then look at that, look, I jumped out of the trailer straight onto the saddle. I didn't hurt me nuts at all. Anyway, honestly, yeah, so I couldn't figure it out, but I have now figured it out, and all of the complicated things that I did try to do, and I tried to, get it to work, and all I had to do was one simple little thing. I just had to look at the header, and for whatever reason, the header didn't accept the crop that I was trying to harvest, and it also didn't accept sorghum, so that's why none of my crops would harvest. I couldn't figure it out, you see, because I then took the same combine into a wheat field, yeah, it worked. Into a barley field, yeah, it worked. Rape, oats, it was like it was working. And I was thinking, why are you not cutting those two crops? And a week later, this morning, i.e. this morning, I'm looking at the header in the shop, and I thought, well, the two crops that I've been trying to harvest are not even listed. There's no wonder it won't bloody harvest them. It's like, how much of a wally have you got to be to just realise this now after a week? And so that's the reason why there wasn't an episode last week. Now, I've moved it on, as you can tell. We're in July. We're on July 1st. I've moved the save on a little bit. We haven't got much money, but we've been doing okay. I've been doing more contracts, and basically doing more contracts because I needed to buy a trailer and I needed to buy a combine, because obviously we've got sorghum growing, and also as well I did some contracts, got enough money for the combine and the trailer and everything, and I haven't got a great combine, to be fair. It's very old, but it was an absolute bargain at £3,000. But it's very old, it's gonna take a very long time to harvest crops with it. A, because the header's not very big. B, because the tank is even smaller than the header. So the tank only holds 1,300, I think, 500, 9, I don't know. It holds 1,000 and something litres, does the tank. So we are going to be emptying an awful lot. But like I say, it was a bargain price. And when you're a farm as big as us, you need bargain price. So yeah, I haven't got very much money. I did then buy, with the money that I had left over when I bought excuse me, when I bought the combine and the trailer, I had a little bit of money left over, and opposite side of the road to where we live, there was another field with something interesting growing in it, I thought it was one thing, turned out it wasn't, and so I sort of purchased it. I purchased the field to have, have another field. So this is our Rolls-Royce combine. We've got a New Holland Clayson. Like I say, there was an absolute bargain, second hand. Well, 29th hand, I think it is probably more accurate. And this is not the header that goes with the combine, because the header that goes with the combine, even when I added the crops that it wouldn't harvest to the header XML, it still wouldn't harvest them. I've not tried this one, so we're about to find out whether this one does as well. However, I will say this one does have the crops listed as combinable crops. Right, let me just. Oh, that was fully down, isn't it? Okay, that's we might not be able to take our bike home with us. Oh, actually, yes. Now then, James, let's be sensible, son. Here we go. No. There you go. Right. We might be able to get it in there. No. No. I don't think it's going to stay on there. Okay, we can't take the bike with us. We upset a lot of people last time we parked a bike in a car park. So I'm sure they won't mind if I put it on display on the table, which should be very nice. Thank you very much. Right, so we will take the combine back. I'm sure they won't mind. The French are very forgiving people. They forgave me for moving to their beautiful country. I say beautiful country, I've never been. Sorry mate, didn't mean to scratch your lovely brand new 4x4 car that looks suspicious like a BMW. Is it M4? 4x4s? I don't know that too much about BMWs, to be fair. I've only really ever had Volvos. Yeah, anyway, bought the combine, and now we're going to go and see whether we can harvest our crops. The header does have the crops listed, so that's half a battle. That's the start. So we're going to find out. If it doesn't, then we're going to just have to give it up as a bad job. And the crop that or the field that I bought with the crop in it, then it's going to be a shame because we're not going to be able to do it. But the field that I bought has got mustard in it. Now obviously the French, like the English, do like to produce a little bit of mustard, so I thought, well, it's another French crop, because we can't just do grapes and olives, because otherwise I will literally be cycling years. We will get a grape and olive harvest done, and then I will literally just be cycling around again to the next one, because although the year isn't quite up for the contract, so I've still got another month, and no doubt at some point I will be doing it off camera. I will be doing some more contracts. I won't be doing them on camera because we've seen them, but today's episode is going to be harvesting the whole time, because it's a small header, it's a small combine, and it's going to take forever and a day. I won't get all of the combining done on camera. I don't think the sorghum's ready yet anyway. And remember, we're growing sorghum because we want flour for the bread. There's a local producer in town that will be able to do our mustard and will be able to do our bread for us, so we're very pleased. Obviously I've got no way of storing grain, so we're obviously, once the trailer is full, we're taking it down to the lovely gentleman that's going to be doing our mustard and our bread for us. Alright mate, sorry about that, I just wanted to go around the telegraph pole. So yeah. But that's what's been going on Pallegney Farm, and the grapes and the olives are looking absolutely fantastic, which is great. Not too sure at this precise moment how I'm going to harvest the olives, because the thing that I had planned to harvest the grapes and the olives turns out doesn't harvest olives, and I can't afford an olive harvester, and I can't do enough contracts between now and August to get an olive harvester. Yeah, I don't really know what we're gonna be able to do there. So that's going to be an interesting one. I've got a few ideas, so I'm not completely out or stuck of ideas. I've got a couple of ideas, but given my success with the header, the idea might not work. But I'll try it anyway, because I'm always game for a laugh. Anyway, we'll get in here. As I say, we more than likely are not going to get all of these fields harvested. This field to my right that I've bought, as I say, we're more than likely not going to get these harvested, just because, as I say, the size of the combine, etc, etc, etc. But we will, we'll have a go. She gets a bit of a shake. I don't even know how this combine's going to react with. Here we go. We're harvesting. Yes, I'm too fast. I'll be honest. We'll combine this age. Yeah, that's more like it. But we are harvesting on Pallegney. Yes, it works. I can't believe it took me a week to realise that the problem was that the header didn't have the crops listed. I've been sort of trying to do other stuff as well. I've been training. We're training. We have no real way of baling with straw, so yeah. So as I say, but we're going, and I quite like the shape actually, because I'm lucky enough to have driven a New Holland Clayson combine, so a farm. When I was a kid down the road from where I lived, because I live in a very farming community, it's like literally, you go from sort of every sort of half mile there's another farm, and the farm that I'm thinking of, which is it won't be guys, and sadly I don't actually think any of the brothers are still alive. I might be wrong. John might be still alive. I don't know, but I know that I'm sure at least one of them died when I was a kid, and I'm sure the other one died a few years ago. But it was owned by the North family in where I live, and they had three New Holland. They were three brothers that had basically taken over when they left school. They took over this sort of. It was a little bit bigger than a small holding, but it wasn't much bigger than a small holding when they started. Because I got to know John and Alfred quite well, or Alf, and I got to know them very well. Obviously, because I was, a kid that was interested in farming, and. Yeah, so they had three New Holland Clayson combines, and what they did was they had three New Holland combines, and then they had three tractors and trailers, and each of the brothers drove the combine and their own tractor and trailer, and that's how they used to combine. That was how they used to harvest. And as I say, over the years, by the time I got sort of old enough to be able to go down there on my bike, and sort of whatever, they've grown the farm, sort of quite substantially. No, dear, I've got my, oh dear, this is bad news. I've actually got my brake on and my reverse. So I don't, well, the brake and the reverse are the same, James. I've got a feeling that header might be a little bit too heavy for this combine. I did well to colour match it though, didn't I? I'm actually quite impressed. I colour matched that there, it's going backwards, and I've got the accelerator down now. Actually, we're going to need to unload, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to put that out. See, on these combines, you actually had to you unfolded the auger. I think it was done inside the combine, and then you had up there. Can I? Let's try again. Ah, there we go. Right up there, up down. So this first sort of metal bar, when the auger was extended, you had to then be on top of the combine like this, and then latch it over. You'd pull the metal clamp forward, which would obviously move the hook, and then what you would do is you would hook that bit of metal over the hook, and then pull the clamp back, so as it pulled it really tight, and that was basically so that the auger didn't just drop down flat. Yeah, I can remember doing that as well. I was only about, I don't know how old I would have been. Probably 9 or 10. But as I say, I used to go up there and, you know, sort of be with them when they were harvesting, when they were, you know, drilling or ploughing or whatever. And as I say, John was always really kind to let me have a go at the different things and let me drive the tractors and what have you, and yeah, it was fantastic. So I actually did get to drive a new one in Gleason, and the most sort of the thing I remember most about that combine was it shaking. It shook terribly, honestly. It shook like a shitting dog. I'll tell you now, it did, honestly. Like, it was like all the time. Like, it was not very good. But the farmer that owns this field, I'm sure he's not going to mind. If he does, I'll talk to him in my own sort of in my own English language. I think when the map maker made mustard, he decided to make 2 varieties of grape. Because, not being funny, oh, I can't get in the trailer now. Mustard does not look like that. Grape looks like that. Mustard does not. So I've got a feeling it was like, I want a new crop because the French do mustard, but I don't really want to like redesign it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it rape, and we're just going to call it mustard. So yeah. Anyway, never mind. Anyway, I'm going to switch out. Oh, actually, from this side, I didn't get the colour very good at all, did I? But from this side, it looks quite good. Never mind. Anyway, right, I'm going to get over to some time lapse, and I'm going to get on with the combining, and you can listen to some good music, and I'll see you at some point, and we'll meet in the bar and call it a draw. So I'll see you in a bit. Bye for now. So I'm back, and as you just saw, we had the Chicken Olympics, and we also had a full factory. Now, unfortunately, that little production point there only takes 7,995 litres of mustard seed, and unfortunately I've been filling my trailer with 8,000 litres of mustard, so yeah, I had to wait a little while. As you can see, you know, we've had a few hours waiting, but anyway, we've got that in now. I've still got a little bit left in the trailer, but with what's in the trailer, what's in the combine, and what's left on the field, I should be able to get it all into the trailer, and then tomorrow I should be able to get it all tipped. But we are doing quite well with mustard, so we've got roughly about 6,000 litres of mustard so far, and as I say, we've still got a bit more to harvest. So out of that one field, we haven't done too bad. Now, I don't know what the price of mustard is or anything like that, sort of wasn't really interested. I was only interested because it was a French produced food, so you know, I'm trying to keep it as you know, authentic to the map as I can, and you know, the region that we're in, and you know, to keep it you know, to French mustard. And you know, sort of, I know sorghum's not necessarily a French thing. It is grown in France, not on a huge quantity or anything like that, but I mean, for this year we can use it for flour, and then obviously moving forward we'll be using wheat for flour. We've got 2 fields, we'll just keep swapping the crops over, so that we keep a little bit of a rotation, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more fields. Obviously we've got the grapes to harvest, so that'll be, you know, that'll bring in a little bit as well, and we've also got obviously the olives. I always want to say olives, the olives, there we go, to harvest as well, and obviously they'll produce oil for us, so yeah, we should be okay. And as I say, if we can get ourselves another field, I don't want big fields, if I'm honest, because that little combine, it's absolutely great fun using it, and I really enjoy it, and it's all, but you know, I don't want to be doing a massive field with it because it only holds 1,900 litres of crop in the tank, and yeah, that's not really conducive to good videoing. If I spend the whole episode just unloading the combine, but for our little fields it'll be more than fine. I don't know how it's going to cope with all of the sorghum that's going to be sort of, you know, put through it, but you know, we're just going to have to persevere with that one. There's not much we can do, unfortunately, but as I say, we've only got a little bit now to harvest. We've still got quite a bit in the tank this time around, but we'll be able to, I think, get the rest of it in, hopefully. I think when we do get a little bit more money, I think we are going to have to invest in a little silo, and you know, sort of do it that way, so that we can just drip feed down to the thing. It would be nice to actually get our own bits of production. So for the grapes, I'm going to buy our own grape press, and probably even go our own little mill for our olives, just because it, you know, we can keep everything on site then. As for the mustard, I'm going to look to see what I can do about doing that on site as well, because what we don't want to be doing is we don't want to be paying Sarah's dad to do our mustard for us, because yeah, that wouldn't be good. As I say, we fell out when me and his daughter got together, so myself and Katie got together, and they ran the little bakery, and the little dairy down there, which they still do, and they take obviously people's crops, and you know, they can, you know, produce their mustard, their milks, their cheeses, their butters, their breads, and then you can either go for the option of them selling it in their shop, or you can sell it, you know, where you want to sell it, sort of thing. And it was a contract that, well, not necessarily a contract, but an agreement that we had before myself and Katie got together, that her dad could do any produce that I could sort of kind of get hold of. Well, now that I've managed to set up, you know, my own little small holding and my own little business, you know, obviously now we can get hold of mustard, goat's milk. You know, we've got that now that we're going to have to be taking very soon, and yeah, it's something that I don't really want to be doing, because as I say, he forced me and Katie to part, and I, you know, have been left heartbroken by that, but at the same time, you know, you have to get on with it and try and make the most of it, of the opportunities that come along. And unfortunately, he is a means to an end at the moment. But as I say, hopefully I will be able to get my own little press and what have you, and we'll be able to do our own goat's milk, our own mustard, you know, wine's great. I mean, wine won't come for a while yet, because I definitely can't afford to put in a you know, a winery and distillery, you know, in order to make those types of products. So at the moment it will be grape juice and prunes that we'll be making, but the day will come when we will you know, expand our grapes, you know, into making our own wine and ultimately making more money from our grapes, but we're a long way from there yet. But anyway, I'm going to flip back to some time lapse, and then I'll meet you at the end and we'll recap what's gone on. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, so we're back again. As you can see, as you can tell, as you know, we got this field harvested even. That's very easy for me to say, apparently. But we got the field finished. With skipping a bit of time, we got all of the crop into the factory. No, that's not. Honestly. Right. It's going to be a little bit of a bend now on that end. Never mind. Yeah, we got all of the crop there. We've taken the milk down as well, which is good. So we will now get our cheese being made, and we will then once we get that into production, we'll have that to sell as well. So hopefully we should get a bit of money in, and then we can look to the next thing we're looking to buy is the factory for the grapes. That's not where I want to be. That's where I want to be. It's not very easy to tell on a plough that's this wide, and also as well I didn't leave enough breeds around the outside, so I am actually going to have to plough the headlands a lot wider than what the GPS is set at, but I'll manage. I'll get through it. I don't like ploughing on the game, but I do like ploughing in general, so hence the reason why I sort of do it. But yeah, I don't like the way the game does it. The game does it very poorly compared to sort of when they didn't do for us and they just said, oh, the game's not capable. They should have left it at that, because that was quite a pleasurable way to plough. That's another thing that really annoys me as well, is that it highlights the one that you want and then you press it and then it just attaches to the next one. Anyway, yeah, they should, as I say, they should have just left it like that. But anyway, we'll get it done. And as I say, we need to do a little bit wider headland. But I didn't want to go as wide as what I'd combined it, so I combined it by 5 because I figured, and turned out I've sort of kind of eyed it right, eyed and thought it right, that 5 was just enough room for me to turn the combine round for me to then sort of kind of go straight into the next breed, and that was always going to help me keep it straight, because I did keep it pretty straight as it happens. Whilst harvesting, and I was really pleased with the job that I did. And then say with the ploughing, I'm beginning to learn that you can actually set the direction yourself, which I knew anyway, but before it never really seemed to make too much difference. But they have changed something in the patch, and now it does actually do a straight line, if sometimes it does it at funky angles, but funky angles straight is better than you know, sort of, if you like, a sensible angle, you know, all curved and everything. Oh, it's a funny incident that happened at the weekend. So I was out driving, and I was driving. For those of you that have been last week watching the vlogs come out about Skegness and the racing and different things, you'll know that last Thursday and then Saturday and Sunday I spent the weekend in Skeg, at Skeg Vegas, for the UK Championship weekend, which is probably the biggest and best weekend on the stock car market, or the stock car fixture list. It's better than any world final for any of the formulas, honestly. If you're into your stock cars, because if you're not into your stock cars, it's not going to mean much. But if you're into your stock cars, just 1 year, just do one Skeg Vegas Thursday, as I say, Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. Anyway, on the I think it was, I can't remember if it was the Thursday or the Saturday, I was driving to Skeg, and came across a house on the way to Skegness, and honestly, like, the lawn had been cut in like virtual kind of really sort of long sweeping zigzags. And I looked at the lawn, and the first thought that came across my head was, blimey, he uses the Giant's GPS as well. Because the bloke was out there cutting his lawn in, as I say, in a really sort of, Pete's sake. Yeah, so I had to smile at myself for that one, because as I say, it was. I wish I could have taken a picture of it, but when I went back because I'm sure it was Thursday when I saw it, and then when I went back Saturday and Sunday, both times, the first time I see it, not a car in sight, but the second and third time that I went past that house, I had cars and lorries and that at my backside, and so I couldn't sort of pull over, if you sort of know what I mean, and so I had to sort of just go by, and it really annoyed me because I really wanted to take a picture of it, and then with the caption of lawnmowers also use Giants' GPS, or words to that effect. I would have come up with something funnier, but yeah, if you haven't seen the Skeg stuff, go check it out. As I say, it was a good weekend, and I offer my sort of thoughts and my feelings about the weekend itself, about myself, about sort of the things that I have to go through to get to go to something like that, and it's all in the kind of, and I don't want it to come across as vain or all about me, because it's not meant like that. It's just kind of sort of highlighting the fact that going out for the day, or for the weekend or whatever, for someone like myself is not as straightforward as if, say, it was one of my brothers, or what I consider to be the norm sort of thing, like for normal people. But and so it just gives a little bit of insight into the thoughts and feelings, and I will get better at it, and I will sort of do them as it's happening and what have you, and then you'll be able to sort of kind of see what it's like for me. But not that as well, you'll get to know me a little bit, because as I say, I do think that things do need to be talked about. They do need to be put out there, so that when you see someone like myself having sort of a difficult moment, to kind of not get the sort of reaction that I got both Saturday and Sunday, when a couple of incidences with myself and with sort of like my heart condition, and also as well sort of my anxieties with going out and stuff, which I am trying really hard to beat. I've sort of from sort of 2-3 years ago, I'm doing really well. I don't like self-praise, but even I have to admit and hold my hands up and go, actually, in the last 3 years, I've been able to do a lot more things, and hopefully in the future I'm going to be able to do a lot more things, and so therefore, as I say, hopefully it'll bring a little bit of awareness, and not only that as well, hopefully it'll be interesting to watch, and at the very least, you get to laugh at me having a meltdown. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you can't ask for any more. So anyway, but yeah, so I'm going to get on with ploughing this. I've got this field to plough. We've then got to wait until the grapes and the olives and the sorghum are ready to harvest, but in the next episode we will be at that point, and we will be there, and we will be harvesting the sorghum and as I say, the grapes and stuff like that. So that's where we'll be at next time, and hopefully if we make a bit of money from the mustard and from the goat's cheese, we might be able to afford a grape press, and maybe even a small mill or something like that to do the olives as well, so that we can have olive oil, and we can then sort of produce that as well. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and if you have, why not hit that thumbs up button? It really does help. And if you like me, you like listening to me, you like, you know, sort of what I do, why not consider hitting that subscribe button? Absolutely free to do so. You know, there are no sort of Patreons, or there's no charging here. Everything that I do, I put out for everyone. And as far as I'm concerned, unless people start asking for you know, to become Patreons and stuff like that, then as far as I'm concerned, at this moment in time, that will always be the case. You know, because when I was no subscribers and no views, it was you guys that you know, changed that for me, and I'm not gonna then suddenly start thinking to myself, oh good, they've got me to where I've got to, you know, where I can now charge, and now, you know, they're gonna have to pay if they want to watch my videos. That isn't going to happen, because it's, you know, like I say, it's not. But anyway, yeah, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.